Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boleyn Lounge Tuesday Talkshow. I'm Jeff, and this week I'm honoured to be joined by Gatesy from the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining me, Rob. How are you?
Oh, I think you're very welcome, Jeff. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. And in fairness, you've obviously invited me on the last couple of weeks, and my work life has kind of got in the way to a large degree. But today, I was very fortunate enough to get done from work at a reasonable hour and not be absolutely just dead on my feet. So yeah, here I am, and I'm delighted to be here, Jeff. Appreciate the invite.
No, you're very welcome. Anytime, you're welcome to come along. And hello to everyone in the chat. I'll come to your comments shortly, but we'll talk briefly about the game, Rob. I don't know what your thoughts on it were. I mean, Nuno's been here a week.
Yeah.
We're going to, I'll say it now, second best team in the country. He set them up to be quite resolute, and they dominated us, but we restricted them to relatively few good chances, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Came a bit unstuck, lost 2-0, move along. We could talk about individual performances and who was good and who was bad, and I definitely think there were some that were better than others. Mavropanos, I thought, had a good game.
Yep.
Wan-Bissaka did okay on his return. You know, he's been out for a while. Jeff got a little bit of a lesson, but I mean, he was given a little bit of a hard time up at Everton, wasn't he? So I don't think there's any surprise he had a tough game at the Emirates. Somerville, I thought, had a decent game. Fulkrug was anonymous, and in the main, I thought our midfield was pretty abject overall, disappointing. You expect more from that trio, or we are expecting more from that trio. I don't know how you feel about it, but what were your thoughts on it, Rob?
In terms of the game, look, I'll be completely honest, Jeff. Despite what I might have said on the match preview, and I predicted a 2-1 win for West Ham, and yeah, maybe that was tinged with claret-tinted spectacles. It was probably also kind of governed by the previous two trips that we'd made to the Emirates, where we'd obviously won on both of those occasions. So I guess that kind of, and obviously the positivity around, if that's the right word, the appointment of Nuno, the Everton game, which I did see as a positive, truth be told. I know it was only only in inverted commas a 1-1, but an away point in our situation is always very welcome. So I think that probably that was a large part of why I tended to sort of be overly optimistic. But to be honest with you, I try to be a glass half full kind of guy where possible, rather than glass half empty. That's just me. But honestly, going away to a team that are going to challenge for the title and may ultimately win it, going there and losing 2-0, is that really out of whack? Probably not, if we're being completely honest about it. I think my disappointment comes from the fact that we didn't register a shot on goal in 90 minutes. That I sort of look at and go, that's disappointing. Whatever.
Zero cutting edge, was it? We offered nothing.
Yeah. I thought that we were just so, Jeff. There was not. I would say that defensively, one thing I will say, and like I say, this is me trying to spin a positive out of a negative. And I will say that I think if Graham Potter is still in as West Ham United manager, we get absolutely eviscerated. Absolutely ripped a new one. So 2-0, I'll take that. Don't like it, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I agree on the Potter thing. I think we get obliterated if Potter's still in charge.
Yeah,
We still lose the game, right? We offered nothing. That's really disappointing. I agree. Fulkrug was just completely anonymous, so far off of it,
yeah,
so far off of it. Um, we don't play Arsenal every week. The next game is huge now against Brentford, and going into that on the back of a boycott as well. So I do worry. I know that you're supportive of the protest. I am as well. I was at the protest and the march. I'm going to boycott the Brentford game, but I do worry a little bit how it may or may not affect the team.
yep,
Um, and I know from a protest point of view, it's um, we support the team. The protests aren't about the team. We support the
yep,
manager, and it's about the board. But it could affect the
yeah.
team badly in such a big game.
I
And I do worry about that.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Jeff, and probably the same as a lot of supporters that I do feel quite conflicted. This is not, trust me, the decision, and it is a personal decision, and I'm not going to sit here and try and lecture people on what they ought to do. I've got an opinion, I've got a belief, and I believe that in order to try and demonstrate that in the best way possible, I have to have the courage of my convictions to not just talk the talk, but to walk the walk. So I will be staying away for the Brentford game, but I do recognise that there are people that maybe don't want change at the top. That's the first thing, and that's fine. I'm not going to say they're right or wrong. I can also understand that there might be people that want change at the top of the club. Maybe not the removal of Sullivan and Brady, but maybe things that they will do around the edges. That's another aspect of it. Another aspect of it could be that there are people that do want change at the club, do want it to involve the removal of Sullivan and Brady from post. However, they've maybe paid for tickets, they've got kids, it's a kids for a quid game. Maybe they don't go to games that often. Maybe financially they can't waive the money by whatever their personal circumstances are, whatever their reasoning is. Fine, you do you. I will walk my path, and everybody needs to walk theirs. But what I will say is this: is that if people do want to change at the top of the club, and people are in a position like me where they can stay away, then personally, I think that they should. If people sort of like make a different choice, as I say, I'm not going to say they're wrong, but I'll just say that, well, okay, well, how seriously do you want that change at the top of the club? That's the only question I would ask.
I agree with all of that, and I also going to stay away um, for this game. I don't know if going forward, if boycotts are the way, and if there's another boycott proposed, then I will consider that at that time. But I'm going to stay away for this game. But I do think that perhaps dynamics have changed a little bit for some people as well, with Nuno now being the manager and it being the first home game. And if people choose to go on that basis, then I agree with you. I think everyone makes their own choices. I've sort of skimmed through the chat up till now, Rob. Everyone's sort of saying hello to everyone and good evening. But Toa said, good evening, Toa. He says, I like the move along philosophy, Jeff. This was always going to be a loss. I think it was always going to be a loss. Again, disappointed we offered nothing going the other way. But I actually think they got a little bit of help with the penalty. Um, I think it's a foul,
Yeah.
and I think it's a free kick. And I think they got a little bit of help they didn't need because I don't think the game was ever in danger and they were going to win it anyway. And Eze should probably score and it should probably be 2-0. But that's where I say that we did it well in that respect that we limited them to Eze's chance for it should have scored, the goal, the penalty, and if Calafiori scores that goal, it's a super strike anyway, isn't it?
Hmm.
I mean, if it goes in off Areola's arse, he's unlucky. But if it nips in off the post or goes in clean, then it's a super goal, right? So
Yeah.
that's just not too much to complain about for me.
Yeah. Look, like I say, the result was what probably, I think, if you questioned most West Ham fans that were being completely honest with themselves, and as I say, I predicted a win on the preview, but I think away from that, if you'd have said to me, no, Rob, seriously, who do you think will win? You know, if you had to, if your life was on the line, who do you think would win? Truth be told, I'd say Arsenal.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I think that you'd find it very difficult. Like I say, I know we've been there the last two times and won, and we were massive underdogs on those occasions. So you could have made a case. We had a puncher's chance, Jeff, but that's all we had. And
Yeah.
the situation we're in, I don't think
And it's
it's
how we
games
won
against
those two
Arsenal.
games, by the way, Rob, in the last
Oh,
two seasons.
they were smash and grabs. I mean, I
Yeah,
was
no.
there for the one where we won 2-0 under Moyes, and other than the two goals, mate, we did nothing. Other than defend resolutely. We you know, in terms of our defensive structure, in terms of our organisation on the night, we were on point. Going forwards, we had two goals, one from a corner from Mavropanos, and one was a sort of one of our, I think, our only foray up the other end of the pitch, which Souček got on the end of. Other than that, we didn't do anything in their final third.
Yeah. Terence says, good evening, and he's got to say he wasn't too down with the Arsenal game. He did see a couple of positives, but Fulkrug didn't fit in both the last two games.
Yeah.
He just doesn't look right, does he?
No. Again, I'm going to give it a plug. I did a video about that on Massive and about Fulkrug and about Wilson and also about Callum Marshall. We're in a lot of trouble as far as our striker positions are concerned because, to be honest with you, I think out of those three at the moment, I think probably, if I'm being completely honest with you, Jeff, which one would I pick for the Brentford game right here, right now? It'd be Callum Marshall, and that's no. When I say we're in trouble, and sort of like I'm then saying, oh well, I'll pick Callum Marshall. I don't mean to do the kid down, but what I'm saying is that we've got an England international and a German international, vastly experienced at the top level, and they look an absolute shell of what they once were, to the extent where a kid who is barely played any minutes in the Premier League, I'm actually advocating should be in ahead of those two. That's
I mean, that was a positive, wasn't it, to see him come on and Potts get some minutes. We've got Jeff Fernandez. So there's a young feel about that team. Magassa's coming in now into the side as well. He was a bit disappointing, I thought, against Arsenal, but I thought he started the game really poorly against Everton, but I thought he really grew into that game. But yeah, he was poor against Arsenal, I thought. But Brentford a different challenge, and we're going to have to be really sound defensively against them, aren't we? Because their long throws are a real weapon, and set pieces is a weakness for us. And as much as we've got 2 weeks, he hasn't really got all of the players there that he's going to need to work with that's going to be in the team, is he?
Yeah, that is a concern, like you say, because there's an awful lot of them that are away on international duty, and so you sort of sit there. I'll be honest, that was my initial thing. Oh, great, he's got a couple of weeks to work with the players, and then when the words left my mouth and I had a chance to actually analyze, because I do, Jeff, quite often. I will say things and then think about what I've said after I've said it, and the words are already out there for people to go, wait a minute, Rob, you're talking bollocks, and it's like, yeah, I am. But I sort of like realised that, yeah, most of the players are going to be away on international duty, and he's probably going to have not that much time with the he'll have a few players that are hanging around, like I mean, even sort of like who's going to be hanging around? There's even players like Magassa and Fernandez who will probably be playing under 21s internationals and
Yeah.
things like that. So Freddie
He might
Potts,
get some
maybe.
staff in, might he?
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be hanging around. So yeah, it's one of those, mate. I mean, I'd like to say that he will get a decent amount of minutes and really be able to get his message across of, this is what I want out of you. This is the Nuno Espirito Santo way of playing football with you guys. Truth of the matter is, I think his time is quite limited with them, which is to our detriment, because we will be playing a Brentford team, as you've alluded to, that they will be competitive. They will be a tough nut to crack. They will be physical, and we need to be able to stand up to that and find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, Word says here that the last two games they beat Man United 3-1,
Yep.
lost 1-0 to Man City. It's a tough game for us.
Yeah.
It definitely is a tough game for us. We're going to have to be on our mettle. So I do think, though, that there were signs of improvement. I don't think you can judge how much impact Nuno had in the Everton game, perhaps apart from team selection, because it really literally come in the door, took a training session and got him on the coach.
Yeah.
But he'd had all week with them against Arsenal, and I think we both agree that we look a little bit more resolute after that week on the training ground with Nuno than we would have under Potter. So he has already made an impact. I think we should create more chances against a Brentford side. I mean, Arsenal are like, pains you to say, but they're just so good, aren't they?
Yeah. It's
And they've got cover everywhere now. They're they're real contenders, I think, this year. I hope they finish second again, but they are real contenders.
Yeah, I think personally, I think that if Mikel Arteta is going to be the Arsenal manager next season, I do think he's got to win either the Premier League or the Champions League, because they've gone close but no cigar in mainly the Premier League. But I mean, what the Champions League, they got to the semi-finals last year, if I remember correctly. So they've been the bridesmaids for long enough. If Arteta wants to be Arsenal manager guaranteed next season, then for me, I think he has to pick one of those two up. Now, whether they will, I don't know. And I am quite conflicted, because I'm not one of the West Ham fans that are quite against Declan Rice. I'm one of the West Ham fans that are quite the opposite. I appreciate everything that he did. I understand that he had to move on. It was just time. And we got 105 million quid for an academy graduate. I don't really see, we got 6 years of him in the first team, 6 seasons of him in the first team, 3 of which he was Hammer of the Year. In his final game, he lifted our first trophy in 43 years, a European trophy to boot. One of the greatest nights of my life. Do I appreciate Declan? Yes. Do I have a problem with him moving on to pastures new? No. Do I want Declan to win a trophy with Arsenal? Now, that one I'm quite conflicted about, Jeff, because then there's the fan of Declan Rice that says, well, yes, because it would be a bit of a travesty if he got to the end of his career and all, in inverted commas, he had to show for it was a Conference League winners' medal. But then the slightly sadistic part of me, the slightly vindictive part of me, says, no, bollocks. I want that to be the only trophy he has. I want that to be the only medal. So when he's got his grandkids round when he's sort of like in his 50s and 60s and they go, Granddad, show us your medals. He goes, well, that's the only one I've got. Oh, what was that? When you played for Arsenal? No, it was when I played for West Ham.
No, I find myself quite in agreement with you. I'm not a hater of his either. I wish him all the best. I understand him moving on. Club got well rewarded financially out of it, and we rarely do that. Um, but I also find it quite amusing when he said he left to win trophies, that the longer he's left, that he hasn't won any trophies. And I don't
Yeah.
mean it with any malice, but I just can't help but have a little cheeky smile on my face every year that goes by that he hasn't won one. Anyway, getting back to the chat, Colin says he's never been more worried about this wonderful club of ours than this season.
Yeah.
He's very worried about relegation, and he thinks the next three games are crucial ahead. And they are though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say the next four, I'd probably extend it by one fixture, Colin. But you're right, there or thereabouts, 3-4 fixtures we've got next. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got Brentford at home, Leeds United away, Newcastle, I think that's away as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Burnley at home. Now,
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
I think we need. What do we need? I think we need 9 or 10 out of that. I think we've put ourselves under huge pressure to the degree where I think we need to win 3 and possibly also draw the other one, maybe. If I'm now being asked honestly,
I
and I
think
did
we
this,
have to beat Brentford and Burnley and at least get a point from Leeds, or beat Leeds and Burnley
yeah,
and at least get a point from Brentford, if that makes sense.
yeah. But
And if we get anything against Newcastle, well, okay, bonus for me.
yeah, if you ask me honestly though, how many I think we're going to get, I'll be truthful with you, Jeff. I think we're probably going to be lucky to get 4 on current form, and that's all I can base it on.
This is why Brentford's so big, though,
Hmm.
because if you win that one,
Sets you up, doesn't it?
things, yeah, things just, even if only so briefly, because you have to follow it up. But
Yeah,
if you get your 3 points there, there's your platform.
true. That's true enough.
With the fixtures coming up, there's a chance. But if you lose that, then and the trouble is, we've seen with this team already, it, their heads go down pretty easy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we don't know under Nuno if he's going to galvanise them, but we've seen previously that when their heads go down, I mean, they're easy to beat.
yeah, yeah. There's no characters. There's no leaders. I think that's pretty clear, pretty apparent, and that's why I think now you can really question. Look, I know we needed to lower the age profile. I know that a lot of the players that we released at the back end of last season needed to be moved on, although it's quite interesting that one of them we've actually brought
Yeah.
back into the fold.
I
But
was going to say it's interesting that we made a couple of errors, I think, with players we moved on, but we've
yeah,
corrected one of them, as you say, like gone backwards with it, which
yeah,
is even more embarrassing, right?
it is a little bit of a sort of like eat humble pie time, I have to
Yeah,
say. Did we need? I mean, look, Danny Ings, yeah, he offered nothing. Michael Antonio was smashed to bits. He needed to move on. Fabianski, I would have kept on, and I was quite glad that he came back. But at the same time, it was like, well, that is typical West Ham, really.
yeah,
I would have liked to have kept one of either Cresswell or Kufal. I'd have
yeah.
probably, again, a little bit conflicted. I'd have probably leaned towards Kufal because he's the younger one of the two. I'd have probably leaned towards Cresswell because I think that his his extra experience and connection with the club, because obviously he'd been here for a good many more years than Kufal had,
I'd
and
pick
also the
Cresswell.
fact that not just at left back where he could have been a big support to both Ollie Scholes and El Hadji Malik Diouf, but you could have also utilised him if we play three at the back. And I know it's not everybody's favourite formation,
No,
but
but he played that left centre back role
yeah,
really well.
I
That's the
don't
thing.
remember him having a bad game there, Jeff. I don't
No.
remember it.
So if we were going to play like that, it just seemed mad not to keep him around the club for. He wasn't going to play lots of games, but the fact that he was there, what else he brought to the club, I just think he was worth keeping for another year. I'm in agreement with you, him and Fabianski. But moving on, Togs has got an interesting question. He says, "Can anyone guarantee the next owners will be better?" There's $1 million question for you.
Yeah, you can never guarantee anything, but
Definitely not.
I'll be one of the things that concerns me, Jeff, and I'd like to get the guys in the live chat to give me their opinion on this. But I heard an episode of More Than Just a Podcast, and it was with obviously Sean Whetstone and Nigel Khan, and I think it was Sean that was asked a question. Now, look, he knows David Sullivan. He knows, what goes on behind the scenes a lot better than you and I.
Mm.
But he was asked the question, do you ever see David Sullivan selling the club? And he basically said no. He said, I think that David Sullivan will leave West Ham in a box and the club will go to his sons unless there is some ridiculous offer that's made that completely sort of makes him go, oof, I cannot turn that down. But he values the club, correct me if I'm wrong, about a conservative estimate I heard of about 800 million. No one's paying that for a club that doesn't own its own stadium and has the training facilities that we have. It's just what are you
heard it
paying for?
punted as big as high as $1 billion, and I think
Yeah,
that's over egged. But
yeah,
800 million seems to be the price that Sullivan, by rumor, has attached to it. It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I think that regrettably, that is probably the more likely outcome. I hope like I say, and I'm setting my stall out. I'm not going to the Brentford game. I was there at the marches, and I will support any of the action that I believe that Hammers United come out with that fit me as an individual. But do I see him walking away voluntarily? Do I see him selling up? If I'm being completely honest, I don't. But I'm of the opinion that I want them out, so I'm prepared to be part of a movement that tries to get out, even if it ultimately fails.
Could you see him stepping aside or into the shadows?
No, absolutely not. He loves the day-to-day involvement of running a football club because I think he's got. I think this was something that Sean alluded to on the podcast. I think basically that's in a large part it's his reason for getting up in the morning. It's his reason for breathing in and out. I think it's what keeps him alive ultimately, and I don't mean that in a a morbid way. It's just that I
No,
think
I know
it's
what you mean.
his reason for being.
Yeah. Did you know? Did you know Kevin Nolan has been sacked?
Hey, is he?
That's
Is that
Luke
what
says.
he has been sacked? I think is he not saying he wants him sacked, or has he said
I'm
he?
not sure.
I don't know.
Togs
I
has
think.
come back with a smart reply as usual. Says it's a load of old cobblers then.
I don't know. I haven't heard he's been sacked. It'd be a shame if he has, but I've not seen them play. I don't know what their results are. So
Word is saying he hopes Mick's okay, and hello if he's watching. He's fine. He messaged me to say he's been in Birmingham today and he's on his way home, so he just won't be home in time. So should be back in a couple of weeks when we're back. Colin says, I feel if we are still in the bottom four, do you feel Bowen will be thinking about leaving the club? That's interesting because it's kind of been sort of punted around in a couple of publications, and one or two people have mooted that would Bowen leave in January. Do you have any thoughts on that, Rob? Personally, I don't think so, but you
I
never know.
no, I look. Do I think he goes in January? No. Do I think he could go in the summer, especially if we get relegated? Yeah, 100%. I think
Oh,
it
that's
could
a
happen.
different thing. I just don't think
Yeah,
he goes in January.
I don't think. No, I don't think he goes. I don't think he would want to be viewed as a rat that leaves a sinking ship. I think he sticks with the club. But I think if we do go through the trapdoor, he's going to think about his England aspirations and whatever. I think best case scenario, Jeff, is that he might do what Michael Carrick did and say, I can stomach 1 year in the second tier, but after that, if we don't come straight back up, then I have to go. I think that's our best case outcome, truthfully.
Oh, if that in the in the worst case scenario that we get relegated and that decision has to be made, and he chooses that, I'd take that all day long. I think
Yeah,
that would be very honourable of him.
yeah, I agree. I think it was exactly I'd say because Michael Carrick was a very influential player in the team that went down, and he stuck around for a year. I know people could sort of like throw a bit of mud at him and turn around and say, yeah, but he went to that lot. It's like, well, if they were the only lot that was willing to put money down and all the rest of it and whatever, it doesn't really bother me. It is what it is. So, yeah, I don't see Jared
Feel
going in
more
January.
strongly about Defoe playing for them than Carrick. I almost forget that he played for them. I don't know. That's weird, isn't
Yeah,
it? How can you do that? I don't know.
yeah. I think Defoe was a slightly different thing because there was obviously the story that I think he himself has confirmed, and he openly said that he acted under advice from his agent, and he was quite young. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, yeah.
That after the game at Birmingham, where we got relegated, it was confirmed on the last day he handed a transfer request in, which was not great timing.
Yeah, well,
And then
sometimes
obviously,
it's not where you go, is it? It's how you go
yeah,
sometimes.
and that's the thing. Sort of like I personally wouldn't have had a problem if he'd done it the right way, but it's a bit like Payet, the way that he left, and we all
Yeah.
know the rumours about why he left and the circumstances around it, but just if you do it the right way, I don't think anyone would have a problem. If you do it by basically sticking a knife in the club, no, sorry, that doesn't work for me.
Usually says Rice was and is irreplaceable,
Hmm.
and he personally misses him immensely.
I think he did the
Very
work of
well
two
put,
players,
usual.
and we're seeing that.
Yeah, oh, we miss him. Well, I mean, do you remember early days when Alvarez came in and we were all crowing out, we don't miss Rice at all. We don't miss him.
Yeah, no, we do.
I mean, that's. I mean, that we have to row back on that a little bit, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, just ever so slightly.
Terence says, I could not live with my son Aaron if Arsenal win the league. He would be happy impossible. I hope
Oh
Arsenal
no.
win bugger all this season. Arteta will be sacked. How sad. LOL.
Can I
No,
just hang on? Can
no
I just check
rivalry in
something?
that
Can you go?
household.
Could you just go back to that last so, Terence, wait a minute. I need to drill down into this. How have you allowed your son to live under your roof and support that lot, Woolwich
I think
Wanderers?
he
What's
has
going on?
his own Arsenal YouTube channel as well.
Ah, you need to sling him in the wheelie bin, mate. You need to kick him out. Pack his bags for him. Get him out. I wouldn't have that. Come on.
And Words chips in with his usual humour of Declan is going to miss out on a relegation medal.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if he ever envisaged sort of like having a championship playoff winners medal in his trophy cabinet, maybe. Deary me.
Usual says, isn't it fantastic to see Danny Ings carry his form on at Sheffield United? Absolutely ripping it up.
I know that Sheffield United are struggling. I'm guessing that Danny Ings has done absolutely FA for them. Yeah, the calculator don't work none too much. The 7 button's a bit sticky. Doesn't work.
Sharky's joined us. Good evening, Sharky. He says no one can guarantee the next owners will be better. Saying that Sullivan and Brady need to go, they are not up to running West Ham, in my opinion. Yep. And here's the trouble, I think, with part of the trouble with our club is the way that the ownership's so diluted and disjointed. There's so many players involved. It doesn't make it that simple, I don't think, to invest. If you want to outright own it and make some kind of hostile takeover or buying up over 50%, you probably can, right?
Mm. But
if you just want to invest in, I don't think it's that attractive. You don't get any say, do you? 10%, 15%.
It don't get you much influence.
Who's going to do that? No one who really wants to see the club go forward.
Because I think you have to have 20% to have any sort of say in the boardroom, don't you? So people like Trip Smith on 8% might as well not be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Make West Ham great again says Bowen should go in the summer. He's wasting his career here. On our current trajectory, you can't argue with that.
I wish I could.
You just don't really want to argue. You just don't really want to admit it, do you?
That's the thing. It's one of those where I'm like, he is too good for a team that's struggling at the bottom, 100%.
Yeah. Torres says,
but then the counter argument to that, Jeff, is that he is part of that team, and he's the captain. So.
Yeah. Okay, but.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm being very mischievous, but you get the point I'm making.
You could definitely say he was misused a bit under Potter, would you not say? So are you getting the best out of him there?
Truthfully, Jeff, I don't think he should be the captain. And I'm not being horrible to to Jared. I love him dearly, but do I think he's a captain? No, I don't, with regret. And this is where this is the bit where I'm quite confused, because apparently Graham Potter didn't think he was the captain, but he didn't get someone in the summer transfer window that had leadership capabilities. Well, that's a failing on Graham Potter there for all to see in my book.
My question would be, if you don't believe Jared Bowen is captain or should be captain, who is captain of West Ham United tomorrow? If you take the captaincy off of Bowen today, who's captain tomorrow?
Well, that's kind of the problem, Jeff, because we haven't got anybody else that's a viable replacement.
I agree.
It needed to be done in the summer. Someone needed to come in the summer with those capabilities. Graham Potter knew last season, by all accounts, that Jared Bowen, he looked at the composition of the squad, by all accounts, and said, I'm not too sure I've got a leader in amongst this lot, but Jared's got the captaincy and probably I can't rip it off of him, having just walked through the door. Okay,
no,
that's
I kind
fine.
of agree with
that
analysis.
Get someone in.
Who'd you get straight in the door that takes the armband? Then it's got to be some character, hasn't it?
Well, again, I'm going to hide behind that's not my job. That was Graham Potter's job, Kyle McCauley's job, because I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of world and European football, Jeff. But Graham Potter, Kyle McCauley, Maximilian Hahn, David Sullivan, Karen Brady, Daniel Kaczynski, all these people at the top of the club and around the sort of first team entity they should have that knowledge, and they should have been able to identify that, right, okay, we've got a problem here because we haven't got a proper leader, someone that when the shit's hitting the fan can drag this rabble over the line. We haven't
The only
got that player.
candidate we've got
Suspect
alternative
said it.
is
Suspect said it there.
uh,
That's
did,
possibly who I'd have gone for, but
who's
he's
that?
gone now. Alvarez.
Suchek. Oh, Alvarez. Okay, but now
Alvarez.
the only one Suchek, right?
Right now, possibly,
Yeah.
but I'm not even too convinced that he's the right guy, if I'm being honest, because I don't see that he's going to be guaranteed game time.
No, I agree. I don't know that he's guaranteed game time. I'm just saying for personality.
Yeah.
I don't see another alternative captain to Bowen.
Yeah. But you can't
But if
make
anyone
someone a
does,
captain that's not going to
then
play.
I'm open to suggestions. I just don't see anyone in that team.
Mm.
Make West Ham great again says, seeing as we have a striker problem, would you put Bowen up front? I don't like Bowen there, but we are useless up front. I think I'd rather see Callum Marshall given a run up there before putting Bowen up there and keep Bowen wide. Marshall's really mobile. It's the one thing that Fulcrook's not.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable for make West Ham great again, children. West Ham or I don't know, shown the door, I guess.
I had a little deal with my wife going back many, many years, and I think I'm pretty sure I've told this story before online. So I've been with my wife now for 28 years since we first got together. Not married, but got together. And when we knew things were getting serious, now my wife was brought up as a Catholic. Okay, I'm of no religion whatsoever. I just, believe what you want to believe or don't believe. If you don't want to believe, it's up to you. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. And she one day turned around to me when we realized it was getting serious. And she turned around to me and she said, would you have any problem if we have any children one day, if they're brought up as Catholics? And I said, sure, as long as you don't mind them being brought up as West Ham fans. And she's a Tottenham fan. So I think I got the good end of that deal.
Yeah. Sharky says there are no obvious players to step in as captain. We have too many shirkers in the team, and that's the problem. We do have too many shirkers. Even it's what annoys me about our centre backs because none of them want to take responsibility. I see it all of the time with them. Mavropanos was guilty for Keane's goal for that. I don't know if he could stop Keane scoring, but he could close the space down and make it more difficult. Not just stand there jumping behind him, watching it onto his head.
Yeah.
Just and that's sticking to his zonal marking or whatever he's doing, rather than saying, "I'm going to take action, make a decision."
Yeah. Yeah.
And there you're saying about Alvarez, usual saying Alvarez, gone to Turkey on loan, and can't come back apparently.
Well, you say that, never say never, because there was no recall clause in James Ward-Prowse's deal at Nottingham Forest last season, but it was worked out. It was agreed between the clubs. So I don't know whether Alvarez, because obviously Alvarez was took there when Mourinho was the manager, and obviously he went out when Potter was our manager. Now both of those people in that position have been changed. So I don't know whether Alvarez is getting decent amount of minutes. I don't know whether he's doing well, whether he's not. What I would say is this, is if he's not and it gets to Christmas, surely there could be a conversation between West Ham and Fenerbahce to say, can we rip up this deal and maybe we might need to sort of grease the wheel, so to speak, with a little bit of coinage. But to turn around and say he can't come back, I don't accept that, because James Ward-Prowse couldn't come back and he did.
No, you're right there. Well, let's put it this way. I think there's no recall. So yeah, but the clubs could come to an arrangement for sure. Make West Ham great again says, how was Kilman captain at Wolves? I mean, I think he wasn't highly rated as a captain at Wolves, was he? But um, he doesn't look captain material at West Ham,
No,
does he?
but he was captain under Nuno, was he not? I know Nuno
Oh, I
bought
don't know.
him.
Sharky says our centre backs infuriate him.
Yeah.
And Make West Ham great again says, I think Mavropanos has stepped up and improved. I would agree with that sentiment, actually. Um, I thought Mavropanos just looked like a liability waiting to happen game after game after game, and I was glad he got nowhere near the team. Uh, but he's come in, he's made a few errors, but
Hmm.
everyone's made a few errors. He hasn't really made too many howlers, which is what he was doing before.
Yep.
But he does look much improved. He looks like our best centre back in the years at the moment, and that's a bit worrying in of itself.
Yeah. I was going to say, to be fair, stepped up and improved compared to what? I mean,
Well,
the bar was
compared to
pretty
what he
low
was,
before.
yeah, it was
Exactly.
dreadful.
It's not exactly much of a sort of. It's not like he's gone from looking like a pub player to looking like Bobby Moore reincarnated. He's better than he was, but he was crap before, so he's just got to be slightly better than crap.
Yeah, but we've got real problems at centre back because we've
Mm.
got this Tadibo situation going on now, and
Yeah.
I mean it doesn't look good, does it?
No.
But he's been unconvincing.
Mm.
There's you watch him play, and there's things to like about his game, and other times he looks lazy. He's never fit.
Yeah.
He can't finish 90 minutes in the Premier League. Um, and he's been here what, getting on 18 months now.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like you say, he's never looked fit. There was all this stuff about it takes him a long time to get fit because of an car accident he had when he was a kid, blah, blah, blah. Then you hear stories about, oh, well, one leg shorter than the other. And it's like, who have we signed? Long John fucking Silver? What is this? I mean, what, do we not do our due diligence? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it's another. I don't know if it'll be a thorny subject to some, but it's a Stighton signing. I think it's fair to say
Yeah.
he was a Stighton signing. I mean, Stighton signed 17 players, I think, in his time here. Now, the debate about which ones were actually Stighton signed could be expanded from that. But if you look at the amount of players that are on like 75 to 100 plus K a week that he signed, and we were wondering how he got them on the plane, well, he just showed them the fucking money. Said sign here, and they went, yeah, all right. Oh, and you got a plane to pick me up as well.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah. He didn't want to come to us by all accounts. He was set on going to Juventus.
We paid
So
some ridiculous money to players that were signed in Stighton's time.
I think, in all honesty, Jeff, and I heard this story well before Tim Stighton was our director of football, we pay well over the odds for players, whether it's transfer fees or probably more pertinently wages. And the reason is because we kind of have to do that as a bit of compensation, because do you think, and this is out to everybody, where do you think a professional football player spends most of their time? It's not at London Stadium, is it? It's going to be at Rush Green. And I don't know if any of you guys in the live chat have been to Rush Green, but it's an absolute fucking embarrassment for a Premier League club of our stature. Absolute embarrassment. And you imagine being a top international player worth your salt, turning up at Rush Green and you're like, oh yeah, sign a 5-year deal with us. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
This is my place of work. Are you taking the piss? There's porter cabins and everything. If people haven't been there and they hear about the porter cabins and they go, oh, that's got to be a load of old bollocks. Seriously, it's not. There's porter cabins there, and quite a lot of them. They've been there for years. It's like, why don't you get a couple of bricklayers in and build a proper structure, for Christ's sakes? we've got a couple of billionaires on the board. It's like, it wouldn't take much to get a couple of people with bricks and mortar and joists and all that sort of build a proper structure, for Christ's sake. No, we'll just get a couple of porter cabins. And that, I believe, that's the reason why we pay over the odds, because they'll look at, you want me to, this is my place of work. Well, I'll have a word with my agent, and the agent will probably go and turn around and say, well, my client will sign, but he needs an extra 20 grand a week for this. Oh, okay. Yeah, go on.
Here's interesting things. Did you see Tadibo when he was caught laughing during minutes silence in France? Google it. I mean, that's not good, is it?
It's pretty poor.
Yeah. Word says, I asked AI about replacing Jared as captain, and it agreed with Rob. New players could emerge as captaincy candidates, especially if they bring leadership experience from other clubs. So there you are. AI agrees with you, Rob.
There you go. I was talking to you about AI earlier, wasn't I, Jeff?
Yeah, you were actually,
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, a bloke with one leg shorter than the other who signed him. Hellboy Trotter.
Yeah. We swapped him for a one-legged turkey. It wasn't a one-legged turkey. It was a damaged turkey. How many legs did it have? I mean, no mood for your trick questions, Rodney.
Doc says, blimey words, my limited intelligence could have said that. So, Dogs doesn't think you're that clever, Rob.
There you go.
He just thinks it's bloody obvious.
That's fair.
Let's get through some of these. None of the present players meet the mark, and
that's the problem.
That is the problem. It's a huge problem. The tip round the corner is the highlight of Rush Green.
Yeah.
Obsidian's joined us. Good evening, Obsidian.
Evening.
And Salman Ali's joined us. Says he's subscribed to the channel. Hope you're all well. Thank you, Salman. Welcome.
Well done.
And he says, Tadibo has an awful attitude. Can't stand him, even though I think he has potential to become one of our best defenders. See, the thing is, I agree. I think his attitude's a real problem. He fell out with Lopetegui. He fell out with Potter. And Nuno doesn't seem to fancy him at all.
No.
And he's only just in the door. So he's probably acting a little bit on hearsay. But he'll find out about him and we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tadibo, sniper's nightmare, usual says.
Yes.
And Shucky says, yeah, rest in peace, Mickey Pearce. Yeah.
Mickey Pearce, yeah. Yeah, such a shame.
And Make West Ham Great Again says, Salman, that's always been the case throughout his career, would never have passed the Moyes character MOT. It's interesting, I think, we often used to knock Moyes for his dilly-dallying and make fun of his character MOT.
Yeah.
And he did take too long to make signings. There's no doubt about that. But it's one thing identifying players' talent and ability on the pitch, but there's more to making it as a top player in a top league than just ability. I mean, Ravel Morrison comes to mind.
Oh, God. Yeah.
What a talented player that decided not to be a brilliant footballer.
Yeah. Yeah. He's had more clubs than bloody Tiger Woods.
Someone says, wasn't he the one who reportedly punched Lopetegui? Yes, he was. And turning up late to training sessions, he should be fined his wages or should donate them to charity. And this is Make West Ham Great and says, allegedly. Which
allegedly.
is true. And it is allegedly.
Yes.
But widely reported. So,
yeah.
Rumours.
It was reported in the media.
Yes.
There you go.
And usually says it was either him or the German. And the German, well, he's had a big mouth telling everyone how shit they are, and he became a bit of a cult hero for it, didn't he? But my God, he needs to step up to the mark, doesn't he?
Yeah, I expect more of a German international of his repute. This is a guy that's played in the Champions League final. This is a guy that's played for the German national team and in major tournaments. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it, mate. I'm just not seeing it. Well, there is. I actually feel. Do you know what? I'm going to be straight. I actually feel a little bit sorry for Julian Lopetegui because let's not forget he was going through a really tough time at home with his dad.
The way he was treated was despicable.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, no, but I kind of did the same to Potter, didn't they? Sending him out to do the presser and all that.
Yeah.
I just can't do anything.
I do think Potter was out of his depth, though, Jeff. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Potter's level is, and I've said this before, Potter's level is a club of the stature that Brighton were when he walked in, not what Brighton are now, because they've gone on to a different level. But at the time he walked in, he was perfect for them and they were perfect for him.
I'm not really making an argument for Potter as a manager, just for the way that he ended up being dismissed by West Ham and Sullivan. As usual, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like that. And it looks like from reports today that McCauley's going to go the same way. They can't just get rid of the guy if that's what they want to do. They've got to muddy his name and drag him through all kinds of accusations before they show him the door.
I heard he'd gone. I'm sure I read a report on the day that it was announced that Potter was out. I'm sure I read somewhere they said that McCauley was history, but it appears not. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Someone says Fulcrum can't back up any of his talk. He's awful. I think he's worse than Wilson. I actually think he probably is a bit worse than Wilson, but I think he's probably a little bit fitter than Wilson.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but it's not really a high bar again, is it?
No. No. And someone says that Potter was worse than Lopetegui. Well, he was, wasn't he? Statistically, he was.
Yeah, I think he was, 100%.
Yeah. Tog says the German had run back to Germany injured that time usual. What a gobshite. And someone says it's the West Ham way to take the mick out of a manager and then sack him. Well, it's become the West Ham way.
Yeah,
and they can't do anything with any grace, this lot.
But let's not forget that you can be a manager at a Premier League club, and it's the only occupation that I'm aware of where you can be an unmitigated failure and your reward is to have your contract paid up in full. Brilliant.
I agree that, but these are the contracts that they negotiate for themselves, and seems to be the way of football. Doesn't make it right, but I still don't think that means because they're going to get paid up that you have to treat them the way that.
No, I get that.
Our board do.
I get that.
Telling everyone to not get on the coach, stuff like that. Just shitty behaviour.
That was poor.
No need.
Yeah, that was poor. I agree.
Word says Fulkrug is not match fit. Is there hope he'll get match sharp after a few games? I guess we'll find out. I guess we will, because he looks like he's going to be used more than Wilson. Well, Wilson didn't look happy at not coming on at Arsenal, did he?
No. Yeah.
And Shark is just saying
exactly what you said
about Abraham Grant. We were just speaking about.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, what are your guys' honest thoughts on Declan Rice since leaving the football club? Well, we kind of touched on that earlier, didn't we, Rob?
Yeah,
So,
half
in
hour too late,
summary,
Salman.
yeah, we're kind of we're admirers of him and don't hold him any malice, and secretly hope he doesn't win something, but won't be too devastated if he does. Would
Yeah,
that be about right?
yeah, I'd say so. Like I say, the sort of generous part of me wants him to win top honours with Arsenal in England, but the vindictive, twisted side of me wants him to win bugger all except for the Conference League trophy in his career. So I'm conflicted. I still love the fella. I think he was amazing, and I will say this, Jeff. I think he is the best midfielder in world football. I do. I think you can make a case for, oh, what about Bellingham? People blow smoke up Bellingham's ass. I don't think he's as good as Declan Rice. I don't.
And Obsidian is just echoing that, Rob. He says Declan is world class, doesn't change just because he left.
Yep.
No problem, Salman. Thanks for
No worries,
joining us.
Salman.
Thanks for the sub, mate.
Yep. Oh, do us a favour as well, Salman, if I may. Could you pop over to the West Ham Massive and give them a sub unless you already have? Cheers, mate.
Sharky says, I hope he wins something with England. Now, that would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think, and I will say this as well, Jeff, if I may. I think he should be England's next captain. And if Mikel Arteta's got a brain in his head, and I think Martin Odegaard is a wonderful player, but for me, you make him the captain, and I think he will get an extra 5-10% out of those players than what Martin Odegaard. I can't even understand. I don't. If I remember correctly, I think Saka's the vice captain, and I think Gabriel's the third captain. And so I'm sitting there going, so you're telling me Declan Rice is at best fourth choice captain?
Well, here's the thing we're talking about. We haven't got any leaders on the pitch, probably even the football club almost, and yet he's not captain. He's not even on the list of whatever. Yeah, for captain, and but he goes out there and leads every game.
Yeah,
doesn't need an armband, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't. But I think
they're
he
the
should
sort of players you want.
Yeah.
Salman says, me personally, I don't agree with the booing, and I've got
Yep.
a soft spot for him being one of our own, helping us win our first trophy in 43 years. The way he treated the fans was brilliant too.
Yep.
Yeah,
I believe
I
he
don't
did a few
really
bits and
like
pieces for
his.
Iron Supporting Food Banks, did he not?
Yeah, I don't think he's conducting the fans when they were asking him to stay was his finest movement. But I'll forgive him that.
Yeah.
And
Hey!
your subs, Gatesy. So
Cheers, Salman. Don't be a stranger when you're over on Massive. Jump in the chat.
And usuals got some appointments on the 28th and the 1st of December. So good luck with that, usual.
Good luck, mate.
And Doc says, good luck with that, usual. And don't tell Harry he'll be making space for new M&S slippers.
Nice. Other slippers providers are available.
Yeah. Leather as well, huh?
Nice.
Okay, well, I've battled my way down to the bottom of the comments, Rob, and I've been on for over an hour. So I usually keep it around that sort of mark.
Yep.
So unless you've got anything you want to add, please give a shout out for your channel and all that, and let everyone know what you've got coming up on your channel.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. So, as I say, my name's Gatesy. Rob, call me what you want, so long as it's reasonably polite. I'll probably answer to it. I have a West Ham channel of my own called the West Ham Massive. If any of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I would greatly appreciate your support in doing so. There is a stream that is going out tomorrow. Let me just check. At I think 4:30. Yeah, 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, which is going out, which is connected to the boycott. So watch it. It's round about just over a 9-minute video, so it won't take up too much of your life. And it's just I just really appreciate if you guys could watch it and get involved in the comment section and give your thoughts. And the way I look at it is this, Jeff, is that there's many opinions out there, and I don't profess to know everything, and I have an opinion, but sometimes someone will say something and I'll go, do you know what? That's a really good point, and I'd not thought of it like that. And now I'm kind of, coming around to another way of thinking and whatever. So yeah. So look, guys, if you're not, really would appreciate your involvement, really would appreciate your support. And yeah, don't forget also, if you're not subscribed over here at the Boleyn Lounge, give it a subscribe. Make sure you've dropped a like on this stream and maybe even share it onto you. And a hype. Don't forget, there's now such a thing as a hype. And I believe that you get 3 of these a week. So if you have a hype, why not give it to this particular broadcast? It makes sense.
Blimey, Gatesy, I hardly asked for a like, and you're trying to get me hyped.
You need to do it, Jeff. You need to do it because people forget.
I know, I'm terrible for it. Right, thanks for that, Rob. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on. Hopefully you'll be able to join us again another time.
That's been great. Appreciate the offer.
Oh no, you're more than welcome, and you absolutely helped me out with Nick travelling back from Birmingham and all that. I would have been here on my lonesome, so really do appreciate it.
No
and I probably won't be here for a couple of weeks because international break I tend to not do much, and it's my birthday the following Tuesday. So I will probably be doing something other than YouTube on that particular evening. So I shall see all of you guys in a couple of weeks after that. And thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us, contributing like you do every week. Really appreciate it. All the new subs that have jumped on board, thanks ever so much. And those of you that continue to support the channel, really appreciated. And yeah, one last thank you to you, Rob, for joining me this evening. And
no, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll catch you all soon.
Go on, you irons.
All right, well, go on, you irons.